Hey guys, what's up? TT here coming at you with a new concept of a video that a friend of mine, shout out to Luna aka Otaku even gave me, which is going to be banner rerolls. For anyone who does not know what a reroll is, it's when you make a new account and you do your first roll, whether it be one roll, or you go for the 10 roll. Now this time is actually a good time to reroll while we have our Grimsley banner. And I'm going to go over the units that you're going to be rerolling for. So pretty much you would be popping a new account, or you create a new account, and these would be the units you would want to go for. Currently we do have the Giovanni event going, and there are some good units in this banner for that event. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you are rerolling, those should not be your primary goals, because those are only going to be good for the event, and then they kind of aren't as good then. But the two units that are good in here for the event primarily are Grimsley and Karen. Grimsley has a good chance. Karen is, well, she's there. But those two are good for the event. I wouldn't recommend you going for them. It's not bad if you get them. They can still do well in content, but they aren't something that's going to help you necessarily long term, as well as much as other units would. They still will do all right, but other units would be better. The units that I would say are better, this is actually a pretty good pack right now. You would want to go for Olivia here. She is considered the best striker, quote unquote, in the game currently. I say quote unquote because no one's kind of decided how good Mewtwo completely is. But he's also a limited run unit, so I mean, she's going to be around. So she has that going for her. She's not limited. She's amazing. Phoebe is currently considered the best support in the game, so those two are primo candidates. I highly recommend them. But Brendan, Blue, and Chris are also not bad. Now I wouldn't say they are as high surplus, I guess would be a good term, high value as Olivia or Phoebe, but they're definitely still up there. Blue hits like a truck. He is very good. Brendan is probably the second or third best striker in the game if we take Mewtwo off the board. And Chris is insanely valuable for many reasons, and she seems to always hold up, and there's been many events that she has been the best, or at least the top 3 best for. Because she actually has Ender, and I'm going to go over a little bit on these, and she can get a free turn of a hit. Now the next part is going to be why these units are good. I'm going to keep it as short and sweet as possible. Olivia, the reason she's so good is because she has her Stone Edge, 120 power, 80 accuracy, good chance at critical hit, which ties in with her passes, which every time she gets a critical hit, she gets her speed buffed. And even though this is 80 accuracy, she gets Hard as Diamonds, which raises her accuracy by 2, critical hit. So she's constantly getting speed, she's constantly accurate, and she has X attack, which also raises her attack. She also has the best stats in the game, pretty much, for the most part. Like, it kind of varies in comparison to others in certain ways, but the thing is, with her critical hits boost her attack more than what her stats can show, if that makes sense, because she's going to be getting critical hits constantly, which is going to be boosting, it's going to give her better output. Now, second being Phoebe. The reason she is so good, her stats aren't fantastic, but they're not bad. She's got a lot of HP, but the reason you're going to be going for her is she's Unbreakable Bonds, which raises the attack of all your allies and gives move gauges. And it's actually better the lower HP she is, so literally it could be tied in the Double Edge. She could hurt herself a little bit and then have that. Double Edge is also really good because it's a physical move, so it benefits off of Unbreakable Bonds, giving her attack. and it's 200 power. It's insanely good because of that. She's got dire hit, which is also critical hit ratio of all allied sync pairs. But what's also neat is she has passed it on. So every time she dies, she passes on half of the boosted stats she has to the next thing that goes in. Vigilance isn't that big of a deal. Aside from that, I mentioned Blue. I mean, there's not really much I could tell you about him. He's got Smellulator, which increases his accuracy and critical hit, evasiveness. He's hard to hit because of that, or at least harder to hit than most other things. He's got X special attack, boosting his attack. He's got Air Cutter, which is great for farming. It is AoE, hits all the enemies. Critical hits land more easily. He's also got this. His speed and accuracy cannot be lowered, which is really good because he's got both of them. But the best thing about him is the fact that after a couple turns, he ramps up. Now, he's not bad beforehand because he's got a lot of special attack to spare beforehand. Good amount of HP. But after he uses his ultimate, he's going to be Mega Evolved. He gets Hurricane, which is 151 power. If you have Smellulator going, it's got great accuracy after that. He's just all around a great unit because of that. Aside from that, we've got Brendan, which Brendan is really, really high priority in a lot of ways. He's got no turning back, which he can use up to a maximum of 3 slots of the move gauge. And based on how much he uses, he gets a lot of attack and special attack up to 6 stat ranks, which is insane. He's got Leaf Storm, which is 163 power. It's great, it's great, it's great. He's got Bullet Seed, which is great. 2 to 5 times a row attacking. 18 power without no turning back and boosting it. And that is attack. So literally you have Leaf Storm, which is special attack. Bullet Seed's attack. Bullet Seed's not affected by Leaf Storm stat drops. That's awesome. He's got Haste, which isn't necessarily bad. But his stats are the creme de la creme. Now this is 0 out of 20 potential on him, and he's got 465 HP, 339 attack, 373 speed. That is great, guys. That is great, 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 great. He is definitely top 3 in the game in terms of strikers currently. And finally, the one I mentioned, Chris. Chris is very nice, especially because she has Endurance and Water Shift. Endurance keeps her from dying once. Water Shift turns her normal type Mega Kick into a water, giving it boost. It's got 75 accuracy, but she's got Pick Up the Pace, which makes her next move hit automatically, gives it a critical hit on top of that, so your Mega Kick's going to be boosted further. You got Sharp Speed, you've got X Attack to boost even further, and her stats are not bad. They're not as good as the other ones, but they're not bad. And in reality, because of that extra turn she has to attack, you can essentially boost one of her attacks by double. So instead of it being like 230 as it is here, essentially she's got a 460 attack because she gets that extra move out. That's really nice. Granted, like I said, that's only one turn, but I mean, it's really good, especially if you're trying to boost your turn and keeping yourself alive, so you can boost your turns and get you closer to using your ultimate move. And that way, you could get that up one step further before your next party member is swapped in. She also goes well with Phoebe, because Phoebe had that pass it on that I explained earlier. Phoebe works well with her. Phoebe works well with Brendan because of Bullet Seed. Phoebe works with Olivia because all 3 of those have attack boosts. And that's why Phoebe is so good as well. See, that supporting thing goes a step further. I tied that in. As far as Karen goes, like I said, she's really good for the event now, but after the event, she's going to go back to not being as great. She's got her own issues, which mainly is the fact that it takes her all these turns to ramp up. She can't do too much before then. She's got Snarl, which is pretty much all you're going to be using, lowering the special attack of the enemy, and it only does 46 power. So for the first batch of turns, she's got Bite, which is 50, and that, which is 46. She can't do much. But during the event right now, she's rather good. So there is that plus. I just wouldn't bet all your marbles on event Sing Pair, if you know what I mean. Grimsley is also rather good. Grimsley has a lot more value, I think, than she does. He's got Snatch, which steals the opponent's boosts, and then that actually goes well with his ultimate, which it actually gets higher power if you have stats where the opponent doesn't, like you're boosted, they aren't. That's really cool. He's got Dark Pulse and Night Slash, which makes him both an attacker and a special attacker. Obviously, Dark Pulse is a little bit stronger there, but his attack is almost 100 points higher than his special attack. So, take from that as you will. All or Nothing sharply raises his critical hit and drastically raises his evasiveness. This is nice, makes him harder to hit. So, but at the same time, he loses his defense for it. But that's the stuff for the banner, guys. So as a small recap, what I would say go for on the banner if you're going for a reroll, aim for Olivia or Brendan and Phoebe. That's what I would say as highest priority. It would still be really good if you got Blue or Chris. Chris Phoebe honestly would be insane too. But most people, those are going to be the stuff you would go for that most people would agree would be a really good grab. Just go until you feel you're satisfied. Top priority though, like I said, probably be Brendan, Olivia, or Phoebe. Phoebe especially, because you're going to get a lot more long-term use out of her than the other ones, because strikers get outclassed a little bit quicker than supports do. It's hard for them to make a support that's well, it's not hard for them to make it. There's a lower chance that they'll release one that's in a better spot than Phoebe without them fearing of it being broken, and that fear of making a broken character is the reason they're less likely to do it. But take care, guys. Leave a like, leave a sub if you like this, share it with your friends if your friends were wondering about re-rolling, and hopefully it helped you guys. See ya.